Coach, obviously that first half, Louisville puts up 21 points, 300 yards of offense. Second half, you guys kind of stifle them a little bit. What was the halftime conversation like with your unit?
Yeah, I think as a defensive staff, we did make some good adjustments, but I think our guys settled into the rhythm of play and corrected some things that we didn't execute very well in the first half. And we played more aggressive. We played like what you had seen us play like, and we have to come out of the gate that way. That's a big, lesson. You can't dig a hole like that. You've seen what we've been able to do at our best, but it wasn't our best in the first half.
Alan said that he thought that some of the breakdowns were more like individual mistakes than like collectively. I guess, would you agree with that? And how do you view like fixing that? Do you think that's easier if it's like one player making a mistake versus like everyone?
Yeah, it's a great question. The only way defense functions well if everybody's doing their 1/11th. If you have one individual, right, we're operating like a machine, right? If you have one individual breakdown, then you have a breakdown for the total unit. So the plays that you saw, an explosive play, it's a breakdown of one piece of that at times. You can't play great defense like that, right? So everybody has to be able to do their job. The effort was there. The execution has to be at a higher level. So we were very blunt with that. I own every mistake that happens on game day, from a defensive standpoint. By that time, the guys have to be ready for the show, and so I let those guys know that so they can go play fast. But, those have to be corrected. But, it's not wholesale structural issues. It's a player here or there.
I'm sure in the first 2 weeks, tackling hasn't been perfect, but it seemed like it was a little bit poor in the first half Saturday. Anything you can attribute that to? And I know you don't want to work too much during the week because you don't want to bang guys up, but anything you do differently to try to, kind of rectify that?
Yeah, I think it's a collective effort, right? So the way that we're swarming the ball, our vice angles, things like that. Louisville does a good job of, getting players in space as well. So that's credit to them from a schematic standpoint. But I think to me it's, okay, am I owning my hip? Am I leveraging the ball? Are my break angles correct? And at times when things get a little bit out of sort, then guys start to press and try to do a little bit too much, right? It just goes back to just doing my job and fundamentals that win football games.
I guess talking about absorbing adjustments, especially in that secondary, you've got some young players, some guys who probably had to play a little bit more this weekend because of injuries. Just how encouraged were you that the way some of those young guys you've got back there, yes, they struggled early, but were able to kind of soak up whatever they needed to fix pretty quickly and come out in the second half and play well? For
sure. It starts with mentality to me. I know I've said that to you guys before, but to me it's a fighter mentality, right? And taking pride in the fight of every single rep, no matter what the situation is. So that's first. Our guys responded from that standpoint. And then our guys believe in what we're doing. They believe in each other. And when you have belief and a fighting mentality, that always gives you a chance. And again, we can't dig the hole like we did, but I was happy with the way that we did respond, but we have to start better and finish better.
When you watched the film of that last Louisville drive where they were able to run out the clock, what was your kind of takeaways from it? Anything specifically that you were disappointed about kind of during that 4-minute stretch? Yeah, you have to get the ball back to our offense, right? You have a coming out situation. The ball's on the 1 yard line, 2 yard line from there, right? We give up a big run to the quarterback in that situation, and we're still able to get him third and 9, right? And you got to get a stop there, So we lose contain on a quarterback in that situation, and he scrambles for a first down. So again, were we able to stop the run to get to him to 3rd and 9? Yes, you have to stop him there, and then after that, it's run. That, and we didn't get the job done. So I was disappointed in that for sure.
Tom talked about this before, and we've heard a lot about wanting to get 3 takeaways away and needing more takeaways. Do you feel like your guys are kind of creating the opportunities for takeaways and just kind of leaving it on the table, or do you feel like you need to be creating more of those opportunities to get takeaways, and what do you need to do to get more of those? Yeah, it's a great question. We've had some interceptions, not the number that we want. We have gotten our hands on some balls, but to me, it's the trying to create fumble opportunities, right? Punching at the ball. That's where the creation really comes from, right? Is a second man in, a third man in. We have to create more of those. It's been a big point of emphasis for us, and we'll continue to drill it and emphasize it and expect to see it.
Yeah, and just on those turnovers, is a lot of it going to be trying to work more even on forcing more fumbles? Sorry. Because obviously you guys have the 3 interceptions, but no forced fumbles yet, not a lot, so just a lot of that.
Yeah, it's huge, so every Wednesday we drill a turnover takeaway circuit. So takeaways are huge in what we do. So we're going to keep doing our takeaway circuit drills, keep emphasizing it, but it's got to show up on the practice field, like in a team period, a second or third man in. That has to be the habit of getting the ball out, right, for it to show up on game day. So it's been a big point of emphasis for us and will continue to be a big point of emphasis.
Hey, Coach, what are some of the goals on the run defense this week to set the tone for the Big Ten season?
Yeah, it's a great question. We got to be efficient on first downs, right? So if a team can bleed you with 4, 5, 6 yards in the run game, then third down, right, is the down that gets affected from there, right? So instead of third and long, it's third and medium, right? So I think both those things went hand to hand this last week, right? You had a little bit more rush yards, and then the third downs weren't as longer yardage, right? So the conversion numbers went against our way, from that standpoint. So those go hand in hand. And it's been addressed with our guys and the way that we play and the way we edge the run and our fits and our physicality and our finish on tackling.
Matt, over here, can you talk about the way that Sharp and Dunham, they made some mistakes, but the way they bounced back, particularly in the second half?
For sure. There was mistakes. There was a big explosive play that was in there, but the guys didn't flinch. So it goes back to mentality. They're young guys. It's our job, my job first to get them ready so the mistakes don't happen. But then I am pleased with them from a mentality standpoint of responding, taking the coaching, applying that. So that's a positive sign. There's a lot of guys that could go the other way at defensive back. You've seen it. I don't care what level it is. NFL doesn't matter, where guys don't have a short-term memory, and that crushes, especially young players. Fortunately, that was not the case.
Whether it's Andre, Linnell, the amount of new faces throughout all levels, really. The way you guys attacked the portal in the spring is really showing up so far. I'd like to just kind of ask you about the acclimation process and how valuable the new faces have kind of helped you so far, kind of as well. Obviously, it's your first year here too. Kind of, it's all new, right? But the way that they've acclimated and kind of helped elevate so far.
Yeah, they've done great. Coach Allen, obviously, and the defensive staff from the jump, the portal was important, in building those pieces. You're seeing the production from some of those pieces and the veterans that have been here too. I joke a little bit, but it's not like I'm a substitute teacher where those guys have been here for a long time and then I'm a new face from there. So I think it's actually helped me being new with those guys being new. It's all new to us together. And I think the acclimation has been smoother because of that. There's no assuming anything on either end, So it's been good, but pleased with those guys and their effort and, expect that trend to continue. Thanks, guys.